Hello, LinkedIn Live. How is everybody? Hello to the amazing Judy Shrem. How are you doing? Judy, you're a dear friend of mine, somebody I respect, look up to. You've run Pro Resource for a while. You'll share with us about that. And you help executives use LinkedIn to get basically their dream jobs. So, Judy, thank you for joining us. Thank you for bringing your wisdom with us. And thank you for being a friend. Please share with us a little bit about who you are, what is Pro Resource, and how you help executives.
Sure, thank you. And first of all, let me say I'm delighted to be here. You know, you and I have been friends for a long time, and I just love talking to you. It's always a good conversation.
I love your energy and I love your expertise, and you come at things in different angles, Judy,
We
which I
do.
love. And you never, when I share something with you, you're always honest with me. You're like, Zev, this is nice, but this is why not. Or Zev, you know what? I think this, I always can trust you to really give it to me straight. Like, you know what, Zev, I don't think this is gonna work. And not a lot of people do that with me. I'm so excited and passionate. People tend to tell me, oh yeah, it's gonna work. You're one of the people that really tell me, yeah, this is nonsense. I don't think so. So I love that about you.
Well, thank you. I've just learned through, long career that if you tell people up front that, that you don't think something will work, you can save everybody a whole lot of time. And honesty is better than, just being enthusiastic because you like the person.
Absolutely. Can I share an anecdote, a story about honesty with you?
Sure.
I had a live a couple of weeks ago, and I did not feel good, Judy. I was congested, and I'm rarely sick, but it was like one of my worst days. But, I said I'll do a live. My team afterwards reached out to me and said, wow, you were unhappy. You should not have done that live. They even said I had a B face. They were like, you were not yourself. But they had the courage, the cojones to come and tell me, wow, you're off and you were awful. And I loved it. I truly loved it that they can come to me and say, wow, that was awful. Because they come to me and say that was great a lot. But now I know that's actually honest, because when it was not, they told me, wow, no, not good. So
Well,
love
you have
that.
a great team.
I do. I have an amazing team. I am so lucky. So, Judy, you help people get executives, top executives, get the best positions using LinkedIn. And we're going to discuss today how you do that and how AI is kind of getting into the mix with that. So, can you share with us a little bit about Pro Resource? What do you guys do, your services?
Right. So ProResource is an agency that does personal branding for executives, CEOs and executives. Typically, we work with technology executives, but we have worked in a variety of industries. We've been in business 14 years now, which is a long time for LinkedIn. And our focus it's on, in part, building a personal brand so that executives can get to the next step in their career, which might be, to get more job offers, might be to get a board seat. But it can also be for CEOs who use their brand in service of growing the business. So we work across the board. I've got a team of 15. We do a lot of LinkedIn profile writing, LinkedIn ghostwriting. We write blogs, and we also do LinkedIn strategy and advertising.
That is amazing. So I've seen you grow on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my favorite platform, and you're one of the biggest experts on that platform. How has AI interrupted what you guys are doing? And I would love to interject too, but how do you see AI kind of getting into the mix with LinkedIn and executive positioning?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Ever since GPT was introduced, we have seen a big shift in what's happening on LinkedIn, and that is very heavily impacted by AI. And the first way that AI is impacting is that a lot of people are using AI to write their posts, or
Mhm.
to at least do an initial draft of the posts. And that's because so many people struggle with writing posts. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to create a strong hook at the beginning of the post. They don't know how to do a call to action. And it's just so much easier to tell GPT, I want to post about this, draft a post for me. And there is a lot of that happening on LinkedIn.
Too much.
You're also, yeah, agreed. You know, AI is getting better. You know, it's improving constantly, but you can almost always tell when a post has been written by AI. It just, there are some linguistic cues that just show up over and over again, and they tend not to be as interesting because AI will generate a post based on common knowledge, but for you to really get the benefit out of LinkedIn, you need to contribute your own insights and your own experience, and AI just doesn't know that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about how maybe this can be helped. So when somebody goes on a ChatGPT, Judy, and just puts, write me a post about this, ChatGPT goes to the internet 3 months ago, which is a huge data dump, which is 80% wrong. It has no idea where you're coming from, what your angle is, what hat you're wearing, and it's going to put something on that, you know, is there. Okay. But if you guys have ChatGPT and you paid for the paid version of it, there are GPTs. Okay. Now, one thing that, you know, for beginners is a really, really useful thing is build a GPT that has all your information, how you write LinkedIn posts, your most successful LinkedIn posts, who you are, if there's books you've written, blogs you've written, educate the GPT to know you. Okay. And then use that GPT to write and then fix it. Okay. So you can't rely on it. It can do 80% of the job, especially if you give it all the parameters, but you have to have that human touch. But if you use a GPT and you do it over and over again, the quality improves dramatically, Judy.
Right. And when you're doing that, when you're looking for a job, you want to be very clear about who you're writing to, and that's going to be a different audience than the, you know, people who hire you are a different audience than people who buy from you.
Absolutely.
And so you need to, first of all, be very clear about who your audience is. You need to make sure GPT knows quite a bit about you, about your background, and you can feed that into it. And you also want to provide writing examples, as you said, so that GPT can come close to your voice. And we haven't seen, I know a lot of people talk about how the AIs can actually capture their voice. We have not seen anything that is really excellent yet. Maybe you have.
So really, GPTs are the beginning. They're like, if you've never done anything, a GPT is a good way to start. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Now, I personally, Judy, and maybe, you know, we can talk about it, I don't like how ChatGPT writes. I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I think it does a lot of things really, really well, but as a writing tool, I'm not a huge fan. But I like starting things with ChatGPT, with a GPT, for instance, and then taking that to another engine, taking that to a Claude. Have you worked with Claude and Anthropics by any chance?
I have not worked with either. No, some of the people who work for me have done some experimenting and they do like Claude. I have not found it to be super useful, but I don't have a ton of experience with it.
The way I look at it, they're not perfect, but ChatGPT is more of a masculine view. It's like a masculine AI, and Claude is like a feminine AI. I'm thrilled. That's how I feel when I read what they write. I would imagine that that's definitely a guy that's trying to shove as much thing as possible into something, and there's more content. So I really like starting with ChatGPT and then move it into Claude, and then I also really like to use other engines. Like there's other things out there that you can just copy paste and check and see, what do you think about this? Now, if you build a GPT really well, Judy, it's not going to capture your entirety of your voice, but it will write a lot more similar to the way you write. You'll still need to fix it a little bit, but it will be 60-70% closer to your style than it is to, you know, what ChatGPT wants you to sound like.
That, you know, that's a really interesting point about the male versus female. I have found GPT will assume automatically that all CEOs are male. And when I've had it draw things, I did a post about this on LinkedIn. It insisted on making a female CEO very sexy. And Low cut blouse, very short skirt, very high heels, and I could not persuade it otherwise. So it is frustrating, but I do think there are ways to use even GPT. For example, one of the things that I hear from people is, especially people who are starting their job search and who are not historically very active on LinkedIn, is they say, I don't know what to post about. And so you can brainstorm with GPT. You could tell it the situation, I'm looking for a job. I want to impress people. These are the issues in my field. I want to post about that. And it can give you some ideas. And I'll
Absolutely.
just put in a plug for, I created a GPT, well, an AI for our website called Judy AI. And it
Through
is
GPT.
through a company called CoachFox, actually, that is built on top of GPT.
Mhm.
And it will give you ideas for LinkedIn posts as well. So it's a good way to use AI to start.
We have some audience that are telling us. So Numan says Bard is really good. And then a LinkedIn user, which I'd love to connect with you, says you.com is also worth testing. Bard I know really well, and it's awesome. You.com I am not familiar with, and I promise I will check. And thank you for enlightening us. But can I share something with you, Judy?
Yeah.
When you rely on ChatGPT, there is there's another EP-Soft, another recommendation from our
I
audience.
I
And
will
of
write
course,
these
my
down.
team
I'll
put
get
on
these.
Wex Content Pro. That's our tool. Thank you, guys. So, so basically, when you rely on ChatGPT, no
Mhm.
matter how many levels, you're just leaving yourself vulnerable in a lot of ways. Because ChatGPT really, even ChatGPT doesn't know where it takes the data from. What do I mean by that? There is so much data, there's so many things going on. So when you rely on ChatGPT as a source, you're not really sure where the data is coming from. There's no assurance to tell you, like, oh, yeah, this is actually true. So a lot of the clients we work with, they can't do that, Judy. So they ask us to build them, instead of a large language model, a convolutional neural network that is inside their own servers, cannot go out anywhere, has all the data. And then we trade that model for 4 months to have your voice. And now that model can fake you out. I can have that model after 4 months. I can have you write something, the models write something, and nobody's going to know the difference. And we've done those things. It takes a lot of time, and it takes a system that is internal into your server. But what cool thing, and I'm digressing, we'll go back to our discussion, is when you build it inside your tech stack, your company raises valuation too. When you build it with somebody else's, you're raising their valuation and their data. And in the end of the day, AI is like bubbles. ChatGPT is a bubble. Gemini is a bubble. Cloud's a bubble. All these things are a bubble. In the end of the day, and I can tell you that I see that day coming, all those bubbles are going to interact together. The AIs are going to figure out a way to go into the other database, and you're going to have your own convolutional neural network to really make that impact. I hope that makes sense.
It does, and I think some recruiters and things like that, I think they could really benefit from that. I think it might be hard for an individual executive who's looking for a job to take advantage of that, though, right?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yes. Well, if you're that tech savvy, but again, it's very, very, very difficult to do that. So you have to use the stuff that is out there. But if you're already an executive and you want to use AI inside the company, that's where. But absolutely no. For a job searcher, it will be very hard to have your own convolutional neural network that you can work things through. Completely agreed. So I digressed a little bit. So let's get back to our executive positioning on LinkedIn. So if executives, I just have an example in my mind. I won't name her name, but wonderful lady I just saw today. She just got another great position. How do you help CMOs, CEOs, COOs? How do you help them get positions using LinkedIn?
Well, the first thing we do typically is we optimize their LinkedIn profile. And you want to optimize in a couple of ways. First of all, you want to make the profile keyword rich and kind of work the angles to be more findable. And that involves, writing the profile so that it's rich and so that it uses the keywords that somebody might be searching on if they're looking for someone like you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
From the executives that you deal with, what is the percentage of people that actually have a good profile?
Well, when they work with us, 100%.
Of course.
But
prior to
I would say it's maybe a third.
Wow.
Lots of times they think it's good and they don't realize how empty it is. Like they've entered all of their jobs, but there's no detail in each job. And when you're at that high executive level, your job opportunities are mostly going to come from two places. And one is retained executive search, of course, but the more likely option is a referral. And what that means is that your network is going to be sending out your LinkedIn profile when they tell somebody about you. And you want that profile to have the story of your accomplishments so that the profile sells you before you can even go on to the next step of consideration, right? So you want to craft that presence. The other thing I tell people is you have to be active on LinkedIn. Because when when you want those referrals, you need to be top of mind with the people who know you, like you, and respect you, and have the potential to refer you. And when you are commenting on the posts from the people in your network, and when you are making your own posts, people see you in the newsfeed more often, and you are more likely to get referrals. So it's a two-pronged approach.
So first of all, I think only 3% of people post on LinkedIn. So immediately by posting regularly, you make yourself the top 3% of LinkedIn. And I even think it's maybe even less than that. So posting is so important. I'm in CES right now, Judy, and I can tell you that just because of my LinkedIn profile, I got invited to so many things. Okay. And a lot of people applied, even a lot of people from our team. And of course, they accepted me because of really the LinkedIn profile and not the other. So every evening I had 5-7 receptions. I had to choose which one I go to. Okay. And that's only because when people look at my LinkedIn profile, they're like, oh, serious, we want to have him in. It's true. I look bigger on my LinkedIn profile than I am. Okay. Now I'm growing there and I love where I am. Don't get me wrong. But it just helps so much. People don't understand how much power a LinkedIn profile has. I get speaking from it. I get, not that I'm looking for a job, I get a lot of job offers from it. Okay. Like I get, can you be this? Or it's amazing how much LinkedIn gives you, but you need to give back. If you're not optimizing, if you're not connecting, and the LinkedIn algorithm is vicious, ladies and gentlemen, like if you don't do, you don't get. It's a reciprocity built platform. Would you agree?
Right. I totally agree. And that is actually the easiest thing for people to do. If you're stepping into LinkedIn in a bigger way because you are looking for more opportunities, the simplest thing you can do is just check your news feed a couple times a week and go like and comment on the posts from the people you know. And
Absolutely.
It doesn't take a lot of creativity. It doesn't take a lot of, you don't have to do a lot of writing, but just engage with people and show them that you're paying attention. It gets you so far.
So far. Let's talk about even, when I'm looking at prospects, for instance, before I go and reach out to them, I will actually go and like what they do. I will comment at what they do. What you got to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you support that way. If Judy is putting a post out, she wants you to like it and comment on it. And we're all ego driven too. So it feels really nice. So the minute you like or comment on my post, you become a friend of mine, or you become somebody I like, somebody I want to do more things with. So if you have companies that you want to work for as an executive, start engaging with their LinkedIn, start engaging with their leadership LinkedIn, put yourself out there. That's such a great way to help yourself get that job. So I'll
Yeah.
share with people when we go after a company, before we do, we'll start looking at all the people on LinkedIn. We'll start seeing if they post and supporting their posts. We'll start doing all that to support them before we ask anything of us. And it's the same thing for a job search, right?
Exactly. LinkedIn has such great tools, especially if you have Sales Navigator. If you're interested in a role at a company, you can see who your boss would be. You can see who your peers would be. And
Yes.
it should be a no-brainer to go follow those people and engage with their posts and support them on the platform. And as a benefit, that tells you a lot about what's going on inside the company, and that's information that you can use to customize a cover letter or to come into an interview really knowledgeable with, lots of ideas about how you can help and what you would be doing in the organization, how you can take the company forward.
A very sweet comment I really want to share. I hope I don't butcher her name. Hortensia says events like this are an example of why LinkedIn being such a useful tool. Comments like this is what makes this worthwhile. So thank you. We appreciate it. And we're really trying to bring as much value as possible. So thank you. So let's talk about a little AI tools that can help people. So I know this is not quite what you deal with, but what do you see on LinkedIn right now? What kind of AI tools do you see being used?
So there are AI copy generators that a lot of people are using, and there are at least 50 that I've seen, and I suspect there are a lot more. There are some tools that will that will interview you, and you can talk into them, and it will convert that into LinkedIn posts. There is a new tool out from Bryn Tillman, Social Selling Group, where you put your buyer personas in there, or if you're job seeking, you put your personas in there, the hiring personas, and it will generate all kinds of messaging and content for you. There are tools like Outreachly that are designed for lead gen that you can actually use as part of a job search. So and of course there are tools that will help you build your network. Every once in a while I run into somebody who's, had a long career. They've been in the business for like 20, 25 years. And all of a sudden they're looking for a job. Maybe their division got sold, or, who knows what, right? But they're looking for a job. And it has been a long time since they looked for a job. And they have maybe, I don't know, 183 connections. So it's like almost none.
Yeah.
And if you want to build your network fast, you can use some of these AI tools to help you build it faster.
Absolutely. But the best way to build a LinkedIn network is go network a little bit. Connect with some people. Everybody's got LinkedIn. I actually challenged one of my team members that is like has 200-300 connections. I was like, we're in CES, get to 500. Like it's everybody's on LinkedIn, everybody you meet. And I gotta show this to people. I know you know this. You can probably teach this to me. But this is a really nice little feature of LinkedIn that I find a lot of people don't know. So this is LinkedIn, right? And if you click on the search bar, okay, you will see a little image right there. And then if you click on it, you have a feature, a QR code of scanning or being scanned. I've used this, I'm not kidding, 500 times over the last 48 hours. And it's so useful. Okay. So anybody with LinkedIn, you can connect with them immediately. Now, don't start with that. Okay. Bring some value, be a human. But every person in CS that I met, I connected with on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I've been to so many conferences, and it started like, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago, where nobody uses business cards. I mean, I went to SaaStr, I guess a year ago, and I came back with 2 business cards. There were only 2 people who were handing out cards. Everybody was connecting with the LinkedIn QR codes. And it's just, you're in this big group discussion, and everybody's like, okay, let's connect. Let's all connect with each other, and everybody gets out their QR code.
Absolutely. So the more techie the group is, the more they are. But I feel like in CES today, I feel like I've showed this to 70% of people, I was like, oh, you can do this. And like, oh my God, I
Oh,
like it.
really?
I'm
I,
serious. Now, again,
SaaStr is a techier crowd. Yeah.
and CES is so international, like so
True.
international. And US
True.
LinkedIn is strong. In Asia, LinkedIn is not that effective.
I don't know. We have a huge following in India and
India,
Pakistan.
yes, but
Um,
China, Korea,
China,
less so.
yeah. Oh, and there probably is a lot of, well, there are a lot of Chinese companies that go to CES. Yeah.
A lot. There's so many international companies. It was impressive. Um, this is so much fun. I can't believe we were like almost ran through 30 minutes. I feel like we just said a couple of sentences. And Nell from my team is asking, what specifically is being overseen as a part of LinkedIn profile optimization? What everyone should be doing? This is a great question for you. So I'll shut up a little bit. How can an executive optimize their LinkedIn profile?
So first of all, let me just say I have a whole book about this that's on our website. If you go to proresource.com, go to the resources page, you can get the book for free, or you can go to Amazon and pay for it. But
Someone from my team, please do that and put the link on so everybody can use. So there is actually a book about this exactly, Anil. So please share with us, and somebody from my team share the link.
yeah, and what I will say is for a job search, the things you want to focus on are, first of all, your experience section. Every job should have what you are responsible for, what you accomplished, and ideally what you learned. Make it into a story. You want an about section that gives you kind of the big picture of where your career is and where you're going and who you are as a leader. And you want to think about your headline. Your headline on your profile is like the subject line of an email. That's what's going to get it opened. When people find you in a search, they see your name and your photo and your headline. And you want a headline that doesn't just say sales and marketing executive, right? You want something that talks about, what's your differentiator? What sets you apart from other people who are like you? You have 220 characters to play with, so you can get some creativity in there. And then finally, you want to think about the images on your profile. You want a strong headshot, not a photo of you where you've got your arm around someone and you crop them out of the picture, an executive headshot, and you want a header background graphic. Ideally, a photo of you speaking at an event, because that is great for building credibility. But the easiest thing you could do is to just take a cityscape, an image of the city that you're on. You can get it for free from Pixabay and use that. It's professional. People will comment on it. If it's a cool image. We have one that has the tidal basin because we're based in DC. The images add a lot of polish and professionalism.
Absolutely. Let me add a little bit of something on the title, guys. Don't talk to yourselves. Okay. Don't put a title that you're going to really enjoy reading. Okay. Like, I am the CEO and world expert of everything. So talk to your clients. How do you affect your client's life? How do you make your client grow? Put that there. Really think about what the client wants to hear and less what you want to hear. And I know, we all have egos and we're all, trying to do a lot of things, but talk to people. Don't try to boost your own ego.
That's a great tip. Sometimes people try to get clever in there and, they're like, I'm a marketing ninja. Well, you know what? That tells people nothing about you.
That you're young. That's
So
what it tells people.
You want to tell people, put all the things that build your credibility into that headline and, play with it and experiment. And you can use AI here don't use LinkedIn's AI.
No.
It's awful. But, go in and play with different headline options and put a lot of effort into this.
And take a client that loves you, send that title and ask them, what do you think about this? Does this represent what I am to you?
Yeah, because people are going to hire you. This is one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is when you craft your profile as excelling in your job. So talk to your customers, talk to the people you work with, right? The profile can read exactly as a leader in the industry, right? People will be attracted to that because they'll assume that that level of intensity and excitement and dynamism is what you're going to bring to your next job. You don't have to say, sales executive looking for a new role. You can be talking to your customers in your headline. It'll still work.
Absolutely. And last tip, put video on. Video shows you as who you are. Video shows your energy, your tonality. It brings a glimpse to who you are as a person. So put video on. Judy, this was one of the most fun lives. I can't believe we already passed half an hour. Can we please do this again? Can you give us another, maybe even 45 minutes? Because there's so much more I wanted to share with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to follow Judy. Go follow Pro Resource. Go find the book. And then, Judy, please, I'll give you the last 2 minutes to finish it. How can people reach out to you, and who should reach out to you?
So anybody who is looking to craft a really strong LinkedIn presence, and again, we specialize in working with very senior executives and CEOs, and we would be delighted to help you. My email is jschramm, SCHRAMM, @proresource.com. And our resources page is also full of blogs and all kinds of tips for people who are looking to build their brand and raise their visibility on LinkedIn.
Awesome. So here is your website. Thank you, Anil, for putting it on. There's a link to the ebook. We have a couple of people hoping this is recorded. I missed half. It is recorded on LinkedIn, my friend. And what I gained was great. Thank you, Stefan. I don't know you, but I truly appreciate you coming in. And Judy, you're an amazing woman. You bring so much value. You're a value to me. Thank you for being with us, and I'm looking forward for our next time.
It is my pleasure. I love talking with you.
Me too. Bye-bye, LinkedIn. See you
Take care.
soon.
Bye.